Next candidate, please.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning. You should be Miss Smith.
Yes, I
yeah.
am.
Nice to meet you.
Too.
How are you? How was the weather outside?
Oh, it's a little bit rainy, but it's okay.
Oh, great. Like, would you like something? Tea, coffee, or
Oh
what?
no, I'm good, thank you.
Oh yeah. All right. So feel free to sit.
Thank you. Oh, and this is my resume and some other
Oh, thank you
documents
so much.
just in case you need it.
Yeah, sure. I got your
Mhm.
electronic version actually. Well, it's honor to see you here. Actually, I'm so glad to get your resume earlier, and I'm so curious about like there are lots of stuff on your resume.
Yes.
So first of all, let me ask you some. Before moving to the actual interview, I would like to ask you some brief questions like about teaching. So why did you choose teaching, not other jobs?
Okay.
Why?
So,
What did you bring you to this sphere?
Okay, it's a good question. Well, actually, my major is more about business, as you can see from the education sector and the resume. But from my experiences, I already mentioned in resume, I have a lot of relative experience when it comes to teaching, and it's my personal interest as well. So, yeah, the reason why I choose teaching as my job is that I think it just fits me really well, and since I had earlier experiences, I just want to keep gaining more experience and keep improving my teaching skills and help more students to become interested in what they learn, what they're studying.
Excellent. And about your education background, like you did a lots of exchange programs while you were in a bachelor's degree. And could you tell me your like experiences you gained during the exchange programs abroad?
Okay, during my exchange program, so currently I have two study abroad experiences. The first one is in University of Melbourne, Australia. The second one is in Salisbury International School of Business in South Korea. These two programs are similar but also different, not just in the countries but also that in the different academic areas, like one the major is different, one is in education, one is in business, but in experience wise, I think both experiences are very useful to me, that I've learned a lot, not only from the classes I took, but also with how to interact with professors and students, my classmates, and interpersonal skills, and also like I have learned a lot about group work, like how to be a good leader, or how to communicate with other people, and there's a lot of group projects, especially when I'm studying Salisbury right now. Like there's a lot of group project. We have people from students are from different countries, different nationalities, backgrounds. Yeah, so it's really good experience to learn.
It really helps you actually to when you're doing your job here as well. Yes, it's really significant for teachers to getting good experience. Well, my next question is about like your working experience. Like here, let's see, like you work in the middle school as a internship, and so could you tell me briefly about your job experience there? Like how was it? Like who were your students, and what kind of difficulties or challenges you had at that time?
So the experience I had teaching in middle school is actually back in Nanjing in China, where I was studying, and that's a very short time, actually short-term internship. We were required to help the students, the middle school students who were about to take their senior high school entrance exam in like 1 week. Within that 1 week, we have to help them to get a good score in their spoken English test. It was really challenging, and it was more challenging than I thought actually, because the students there, although they were like 15 or 16 years old, some of them didn't even know how the alphabet, English alphabet.
Oh yeah.
So they didn't know how to pronounce the alphabet. Maybe they had good like reading or writing skills, but when it comes to speaking, they really suffer a lot, struggling. So I used some special like teaching methods. For example, like comparing Chinese, their native language,
Mhm.
with English, target language, and also with some other like games, and also some like podcasts,
Yeah.
and some other ways that just helps them to improve their
Mhm.
listening and speaking skills, and it really helped because the students actually had a pretty good score, and
Cool.
I felt happy that
Oh.
I helped them.
That's great to know that. And yeah, let's move on to the next part of the
It's true.
interview. It's actually more practical part. Like, so as you know, you're applying for the job for our company. So I'm really curious about like how did you find us, and like how much do you know about our company, which is like Education
Yes.
Center, and what do you like most about our company?
That's true. I actually did a lot of research when I was looking for jobs in different companies, different education centers. And the reason why I chose your center among others, is that because I think, first of all, your center has a long history, about 50 years history,
Yeah. That's great.
and it's really good company, and like not so famous, even though not so famous like many people. Some of my friends who are also looking for education job, they never heard of it, but
Mhm.
I think it suits me well because this job is like teaching American students Chinese.
Mhm.
Since I had many previous experiences, especially like when it comes to English speakers, I had experience teaching American students with her. I helped her with HSK test,
Mhm.
the Chinese it's like language test,
Yeah.
and also some other relevant experiences. So helping native English speakers, I know the patterns of English speakers,
Oh yes.
that the difficulties they have when they learn Chinese as second language. So yeah, so
I think that's pretty
that's
enough for
why I
this
chose
question.
this, yes.
And let's move on to the other question. Like, so who will you see yourself like in the next 5 years?
Okay, that's a good question.
In
Thank you.
which status, let's say?
Yes. Okay, so next 5 years, I think first of all, because I look forward to working with you, with your company,
We're
and so
glad that.
yeah, first of all, I hope that I will have a good experience here, and maybe we'll have some promotions, or at least we'll just keep working hard, and like just yeah, be a
Of course.
good teacher in your education center. And then about maybe in 3 years, I look forward. I also planning to start my own business education, but also it will I will see the different situations, like just this is a goal, is one of my goals, but also it depends on how it goes. But yeah, I really look forward to working with you, at least for let's say about 1 or 2 years. Yeah, I do.
Wow. So we will be so glad to work with you.
Yes.
And well, and may I ask you about your skills? Here, yeah, as you know, like there is a big difference like in the Chinese language and English, and somehow the grammar and everything is quite controversial. So, how can you teach English to Chinese students, or how can you teach English students to Chinese?
Okay, that's a good question. Well, yeah, it is indeed challenging for non-native speakers to learn a foreign language. Doesn't matter which language it is. So I think really important thing for people to learn a foreign language that they have to use a lot. It's same for me when I'm studying abroad, and especially like right now in Korea. Like Korean is totally new language for me. So I think when people are like actually surrounded by a target language, that it's easier for them to learn. So I think one strategy that I will use for my students is that I will encourage them to speak more, and also to always use language even though they don't like it. I will try to think about some teaching methods that used to use in other education centers to make them interested in what they're learning.
That's great. Thank you so much. I think that's the end of the interview. I mean, we really like your resume, and like the last thing is about the salary. So do you agree with the salary that we posted already on the website? I think.
Yeah, it looks really
it's
nice.
quite fixed.
It looks really nice. But I have one question: is that the salary posted on the website, is it fixed or it depends on the working?
It's we are really sorry to say that for 1 year it's fixed actually.
Yeah.
So maybe depending on the number of students you will teach and the classes, after 1 year you will get kind of extra bonuses in salary starting from the next year. Yeah. So thank you so much. We will let you know after consulting with the other members.
Thank
Have a good
you.
day.
You
Thank you
too.
so much.